Welcome to All Folks Racing PlayStation. Welcome back to the World Prototype Sprint Championship. This is round 3, race 5 with the Audi R8, the LMP900 open top prototype. What a beauty it is. And today we are racing it around the very classic circuit of the 24-hour of Le Mans circuit. Of course, it's a sprint race, not endurance, here in the All Folks Racing PlayStation Championship. But it should be nonetheless a great race. Pole position for Jorge Jesus, alongside him Delphi Mora. Second row is Darren Head and Cavalon, followed by Del Taylor and Simon Allen. Row 4 it's Peter Adrian and Scott Davely. Row 5 Jumbo and John Scott. And row 6 it is David Emgame and Andrew Dalby in 12th place. We are about to start a 20-minute race. It's only 6 laps here at Le Mans. And let's go for the start. We are just moments away, and what a great start by Delphi Mora. And Jorge Jesus on front pole position. Not do a good start. In fact, he's overtaken there by Darren Head and also by Cavalon. And can he recover? And he's going to go into the up curve, and he recovers third place there from Cavalon. So Delphi Mora, Darren Head and Jorge Jesus, everyone seems to have gone through now. Oh, and Jorge now makes a mistake there at the exit of the chicane, and he drops further back to 5th place. He drops to 5th place, not the start that Jorge Jesus wanted, as John Scott is in 10th spot. And pretty much everyone seems to be safely around the first few corners of the Le Mans circuit as they go into the Mulsanne Straight for the first out of 6 times. And this is the replay of the start with Simon Allen. He sits in 6th place now. Let's look at the replay of what happened to Jorge Jesus. It's purely a bad start, as Delphi Mora, Darren Head, Cavalon all go through. Del Taylor had some ideas there as well to overtake Jorge. Nicely done there by Simon Allen down on the inside. Now they are going to break for the chicane. And everything is going to be fine here, except at the exit Jorge Jesus is going to probably hit the curb. Yes, that's what happened. He hit the curb and almost span it. He loses a position to Del Taylor and is now in 5th spot. As Simon Allen there misses the apex at the S's. Oh, Del Taylor is off. Del Taylor is off there at Tertre Rouge, and Simon Allen takes 5th place despite knocking down all those cones. He still manages to get the position. This is the replay from David Emke's perspective. He's in 12th. Nice start there by Andrew Dalby there through the middle of John Scott and I believe Jumbo, as Jumbo now on the inside, as Andrew Dalby actually forgot to brake for turn 1. No, forgot to turn. Oh, and there's contact there between Jumbo and Scott Davely. And I think Scott was just an innocent victim of perhaps a bit of early braking there, trying to be cautious, and Jumbo hit him in the back. I believe that's what happened, but we may or may not get another replay of this incident. Nevertheless, Jumbo in 11th and Scott Davely in 12th place. Now this is the replay from Jumbo's perspective, as this is Andrew Dalby's great start, but now he's on the outside there and he's just ran out of track, almost loses it. Jumbo is coming behind Scott Davely, and oh yes, Scott is already braking and Jumbo is still accelerating, and the contact happens. And Scott Davely not having any luck with this car so far in this championship. The last time round at race 1 in Silverstone, he was a lap down barely after the race started, and this is the replay of Scott Davely. He is now in recovery mode. He's dead last, and he basically will have, well, we need to do a lot of work. He still hasn't, well, he hasn't actually lost that much time though, as he's still in the pack, as Darren Head is putting pressure on Delphi Mora. And this is at Tertre Rouge as they now approach the Mulsanne Straight for the first time. Third is Cavalon, of course. He's up into third after Jorge Jesus' error at the exit of the chicane. Jorge Jesus sitting in 4th place. There he is, the man that was started this race from pole position and already down into 4th. Simon Allen in 5th place. Look at Peter Adrian up into 6th as Delphi Mora is trying to. Ooh, Darren Head is whoa! That was a bit of a late move there, almost like a dive bomb, but he managed to get out of it as he continues to be in 2nd place. But look at the drafting effect of this car here at Le Mans. Seems to be quite significant, as Andrew Dalby is up into 8th place amazingly from 11th or 12th, I can't remember, but nevertheless a very good start as they approach the first chicane for the first time. 7th is Dale Taylor, and Dale was further up for that incident at Tertre Rouge into the second half of the Mulsanne straight, and Darren Head is having ideas of getting the lead again as they now approach Mulsanne corner, and Delphine Moore is on the no, this is the second chicane, sorry. Oh, and someone, it was Kev Allen, just went straight. Did he go straight? Something seemed to happen. Yes, it was Kev Allen that went straight. Did he just forget how to brake, or... and almost hits Darren Head in the back and then spins. A few other drivers almost joining him in sympathy. Oh, and Peter Adrian has got together as well with, I believe it's Dale Taylor. Yes, it is Dale Taylor. Dale Taylor and Peter Adrian also got together at the second chicane. We'll get a replay of that incident. This is the exit of the first chicane. And it seems to me that Dale certainly was very close to Peter. Is he going to go on the inside or the outside? And the answer is he's going on the inside. He's side by side, so it's all going to be down to the braking point between these two drivers, and Dale is ahead. And I think just going to have contact just like that. Oh, and it was Peter that was trying to go on the inside of Dale there during the actual chicane, and that was a slightly ambitious move, has to be mentioned. Not impossible, but a bit tricky to execute, and at the end of the day they managed to spin, both of them, and they are now delayed. So a few incidents already. Let's see if there was a gap. Oh, not really a gap. And look at that, that's Kev Allen, and someone else there as well spinning. That's the driver in 12th place. I can't. Oh, and now Kev Allen is stuck there. Kev Allen is stuck. Dale Taylor, and it was Jambo. Jambo was the driver that also spun in the chicane. We may get a replay of this. I suspect this is a 3-wide situation with John Scott, David Emge, and Jambo, and this is not going to end well. It is a 3-wide situation. Now 3 into 1. They will not go through the chicane like this. Now Jambo is on the inside, and unfortunately he spins on his own, so no contact there, just Jambo on the inside. A bit of an optimistic move there, and ends up spinning on his own. Look at John Scott, he gained a few positions with this. Look at this, he's on the outside. Now Jambo is going to spin. David Emge, well, yes, David Emge is ahead of him, but he also got through the Kev Allen situation and also the clash between Peter Adrian and Dale Taylor. So many drivers already making mistakes with this car. What a surprise, as the leaders are definitely battling here at Le Mans. They are now in the section after Mulsanne, coming down into Indianapolis. George Jesus is up to third. Oh no, he's not. Oh, he's up into third, but he spins in Mulsanne. So multiple errors for George Jesus. He loses third place again, this time to the other Allen. So Simon Allen from 6th went into 5th when Dale Taylor crashed, went into 4th when Kev Allen crashed, and now when George Jesus spun, is up into 3rd. Nicely done there by Simon Allen on this first lap out of 6 here at Le Mans, as the two leaders are again at it. And these drivers, of course, they dominated the previous race at Silverstone, with Darren Head winning after Delphine Mora. Oh, and Darren Head spins now. Darren Head spins at Tarnage. Disaster for Darren Head. This is the problem with this car. It's not very difficult to control. It is quite difficult to race other people on it. And Darren Head there at Arnage was trying to be brave and aggressive, and ends up spinning. He's still in 2nd place though. But look at this. This is Darren Head ahead of this pack, followed by Simon Allen, followed by Jorge Jesus, who is in 4th place, but he's coming with a lot of pace. And oh, that hits Simon Allen in the back. What was he thinking? As this is really not an overtaking spot there. Thankfully, Simon Allen did not lose control of his machine, and they keep their positions, as Scott Davey, incredibly, is up into 8th place, despite being turned around in the first corner. He has recovered somewhat. Of course, there was Jumbo spin There was Peter Adrian and Dale Taylor, and also Kev Allen are all behind me. And look at Jumbo is now losing it again. He's losing it on his own in the Porsche cars. Oh, big crash there with Peter Adrian. Nowhere to go for Peter, and Jumbo is now upside down. And well, we have a little bit too many incidents there, but here absolutely nowhere to go. And Jumbo is just going backwards, and Peter was bang on the racing line. And Peter now spins as well, and incredibly they are not, well, they are 11th and 12th. Sorry, momentarily I thought there was a problem there with the Delphi Mora, but that was just the leaderboard going bonkers. Well, result of all of this, Delphi Mora is in the lead of this race with 4 seconds advantage over Darren Head, who has spun at Arnage. Third is Simon Allen. Simon has not made any mistakes, but he was 6th. Oh, and this is Scott Davely now. They're a bit aggressive in the chicane, almost hitting another driver, and Kev Allen says thank you very much, and is up into 7th place. But this was a little bit unlike Scott. And it was with John Scott, and John Scott and Scott Davely. Again, we've got this magnetic attraction, and to be fair to Scott, he did give the position back, but John Scott did lose a position. They both lost a position to Kev Allen, who said thank you very much, and he's now up into 7th on his recovery. I think Scott wasn't trying to overtake John. And look at this, they're all over the place here at that Rouge, and I wonder if at some point the admins may reinstate track limits here. As I was mentioning, I think Scott wasn't looking for an overtake, he just outbraked himself, and then John Scott was a bit of collateral damage. Thankfully he didn't lose that much time, he's in 8th spot. Andrew Dalby is up into 5th, and remember he started 11th, and that just shows how good consistency and pace, when combined together, lead to good results, as he basically no mistakes, a good start, and very careful negotiation of some of these corners leads to him being in the top 5 position. Look at this, this is the battle for 2nd place, and again track limits being very much ignored there by Simon Allen, and perhaps by others as well, as he's chasing Darren Head for 2nd, and Darren is already 6 seconds behind Delphi Mora. Delphi Mora is running away with this race. Look at that. That's Simon Allen on the inside of Mulsanne, and he's going for it, but Darren just takes the corner, and now Simon Allen loses a lot of momentum and will have to give room to Jorge Jesus if he makes a move, but he hasn't made a move as of yet. Nice battle here for 2nd place. Of course, benefiting from the massive drafting that this car has around Le Mans, and in this case we've got 3 cars. Look at this, he's on the outside at Indianapolis, well, outside in this section, which is going to become the inside, and this was bound to happen as he's running out of road. And Jorge Jesus, nice move there, very nice move there, that was very brave, and they managed to execute it without any contact through Arnage, and now Darren Head is actually happy that Jorge Jesus and Simon Allen are so entangled, because he can have a bit of breathing space there in 2nd place. 9th place is Scott Davely, 10th place is Dale Taylor. Both have had quite eventful races so far. We're still on lap 2 out of 6, and Kev Allen now just coming to the back of another unsung hero of this race. That's David Emge, who is in 6th place after starting 12th. And again, that's just being careful, making no mistakes, and just advancing. Look at this, that's Darren Head and George Jesus, and George is getting very gutsy there at the 4th chicane, at the section just before the start-finish line, but Darren is having none of it, and continues to be in 2nd place and 5 seconds behind the Delphi Mora. This is Kev Allen on David Emge, and now Kev is going to run wide and is in the gravel, and that shows that it's not a great idea to try to overtake at the 4th chicane. Probably you are better off just doing the chicane as quickly as possible, getting to the back of the other car, and then diving here on the inside, or even better, right here on the inside, which is, I suspect, what Dale Taylor wants to do on Scott Davely, but Scott defends nicely there in the 1st chicane, the Dunlop chicane, through the Dunlop Bridge. 8th and 9th are Scott Lively and Dale Taylor. They both had very eventful races so far. And there's a car there, which I wonder who that is, or if it is a car at all, or just an animation. Oh, look at this! Kev Allen is again off the road, and so is Dale Taylor as well. Dale Taylor at Tete Rouge. Kev Allen, I think, lost it on his own. He was trying to recover ground lost to David Emge. This car does not like curbs, and he hit the inside curb there. He's in the grass just before Tete Rouge, and now I think, well, I would like to think that he wants to just get out of the way as opposed to achieve a massive shortcut of this track, but he didn't really get out of the way, Kev Allen there, and he did gain a lot of time by cutting Tete Rouge in the way he did. So certainly something for the admins again to consider. Dale Taylor is under pressure from John Scott. John trying to recover a little bit after that incident with Scott Lively, and this was a good move. This is how a move should look like. Again, he ran a little bit wide there, but I think he stayed within track limits. That was definitely a good move. A few moments ago, this is Darren Head and George Zeus, and I think something dramatic may be about to happen here. They are side by side, and I think that Darren is going to have to yield on this one, as that number 3 is on the inside line for the first chicane of the Mulsanne Straight. Darren tries to brake a little bit later, which he does, but George is already ahead, and he keeps it within track limits at the exit, and he's up into second place. Nicely done there by George Jesus, but this battle is not over, as now it's Darren who benefits from the drafting in the second part of the Mulsanne Straight, and he could do exactly the same maneuver to George. George is now going on the inside there. A little bit of a late move, but at least it was only one move, so it was borderline fine there for George Jesus. He did take a bit of time to decide which side he wanted, but at least he did not weave. Nice defense move there by George, but now Darren is ahead. He's not ahead, he's again right on his back, as Dale Taylor is trying to recover that 9th place from John Scott. Scott Lively is ahead of this driver, so the Scots are again together. Now George Luz is on the inside there at the Mulsanne. Darren was trying to come back at him on the outside, but didn't really work, but nice battle there. Now at the exit of Mulsanne, Darren definitely has the advantage. The problem here is that the track, not only it's a bit narrow, it's also a bit curvy, as Darren had just found out there. It is not possible to run side by side there unless it's a massively cooperative move, which clearly George Zeus is with no interest whatsoever. Darren loses it at Indianapolis. Darren loses it, and he's going to crash big time. And I think it was on his own, no contact. Let's see, Darren again is the curb, the inside curb there at Indianapolis. The problem is, can he press the reset button quickly? Yes, he can. Can he not lose any positions? Yes, he can. Look at Andrew Dalby. He's up into 4th place. Well, he's also lost it at Indianapolis. I'm not sure if it was in sympathy to Darren. And as Andrew Dalby came a little bit late there, Darren was already in the racing line, to be fair. This just illustrates that the reset button can sometimes cause trouble, as Andrew Dalby was far behind Darren Head, but he was coming at a very high closing speed, and then he just tried to go on the inside, but Darren was, well, basically stationary, but already in the racing line, and Andrew Dalby ends up losing the position that he had gained from Simon Allen. So Simon Allen is in 4th place, Andrew Dalby back into 5th place. I was about to praise the fact that he was in 4th place and that he somehow had overtaken Simon Allen, but now he's down into 5th again. The battle is not over though, and we are about to hit the midpoint of this race, and there is one man that is very peacefully leading this race, and that's Delphi Mora, who is en route for the first win of the season. He just needs to hold on for another 3 laps. He did a great job at Silverstone for most of the race before making a mistake late in the race. So let's watch closely to see what's going to happen here. David Emge and Kev Allen continue to battle for 6th place. It has been going on for a couple of laps. By the way, Delphi Moore could become the 5th different winner in 5 races, as the opening race was won by Simon Allen, then Dale Taylor, then it was George Jesus, Then it was... I can't remember who won the other race. Well, no, it was Darren Head. Yes, it was Darren Head. So a lot of parity with this car, certainly in Old Fox Racing PlayStation, with no one taking advantage at this point in the season. Which probably means that the race to the title is going to go down to consistency and making the most out of a bad day, which is what Kev Allen is trying to do here, at least securing 6th place. He's now going on the inside, and I think that's game, set and match, as he seems to be coming with more momentum. And now he's going to break ahead of David Emge, and up he goes into 6th place. David down into 6th. Now Kev has been quite competitive here, but consistency has not been his forte, as he always seems to make a mistake after he gains this position. So let's keep an close eye on Kev Allen and whether he can do 3 laps without making a mistake here. Delphi Mora continues to lead, and now the gap is 8 seconds to Jorge Jesus, and that battle between Jorge Jesus and Darren Head obviously resulted in both losing a little bit of time. Scott Davely is in 9th place. He's lost position to Dale Taylor. Dale has been recovering a couple of positions in the background, so he's now up into 8th. John Scotton is in 10th. Scott Davely is in 9th, so the Scots are again together. And at the back we've got Peter Adrian and Jambo. Jambo has been delayed by multiple incidents, mostly on his own, and Peter Adrian has never recovered that much from that opening lap collision with Del Taylor at the chicane in the Molson Straight. Now Scott Davely has not given up on 8th place. He's actually very close to Dale Taylor. Keep an eye on that battle. Now we have a rare sight of the race leader Delphi Mora now entering the Porsche curve section. 2nd place, it's Jorge Jesus. Jorge Jesus is being very competitive in this prototype. I would not be entirely surprised if he ends up winning the championship, but he's got good opposition. Darren Head in 3rd. 4th is Simon Allen. 5th is Andrew Dalby. And Andrew Dalby will have to contend with Kev Allen if Kev manages to recover a bit more ground. Kev is doing 3:38, and Andrew Dalby not a great lap in the previous lap. It's 3:41. Unfortunately, they are. Look at George Lewis, he's done 3:30, and this was the previous lap was the one that Andrew Dalby had that incident at Indianapolis. He's a little bit better than being 11 seconds off the pace, but this just shows that it's quite important to be consistent here at Le Mans, because just a small mistake you can lose 9 or 10 seconds easily. And someone is spinning there. Someone was spinning there. I'm not entirely sure who it was. It was Dale Taylor. Dale Taylor was the man that spun. I believe this isn't the first chicane. I believe it was on his own as well. And he's just parked it on the gravel. Yes, it's just too much wheel spin. Well, he's parked it in the grass actually. He's in the pit lane entry. Reset button. He's still in the top 10 because Peter Adrian and Jambo have been delayed a lot by incidents. Andrew Dalby in 5th. Now this has promoted, and and Andrew Dalby is also off in the same place. He's ends up in the Bugatti circuit, and now he doesn't know where to go. Now he finds another car as a guiding light back into the track. This is not good for Andrew Dalby, who was having such a good race. He's down into 7th. Now this has promoted a few people, namely Kev Allen to 5th, David Emge to 6th, and due to Dale Taylor's spin, we've got Scott Davely in 8th and John Scott in 9th. They were 9th and 10th before. Oh, and there's someone has gone off there. Someone has gone off. Simon Allen. Simon Allen has made a mistake as well. So no one is immune to mistakes. And look at this. Look at Kev Allen again cutting track limits there at that Rouge. Let's see what happened to Simon Allen. Again, is the curb, isn't it? Yes. And he goes into that ACO board there. He loses 3rd. He's still in 4th. Now David Emge is on the inside. Oh, now they collide, David Emge. Oh no! David Emke, who was having such a great race, collides with Simon Allen as Simon comes back into the track, and then they just connected. Let's see. Now David is coming with a lot more momentum, and he's going to go on the inside. He has second thoughts about it, but then well, he could have given Simon a bit more space there, and he had second thoughts about it, which was good because that wasn't perhaps the most advisable move. Now he's lost a few positions, he's down into 10th. Simon Allen also lost a lot of time. I mean, probably racing incident category here, as Del Teller is now overtaking Simon Allen. Simon still recovering. Simon's still recovering from that incident, and Del Teller is actually the biggest beneficiary of this array of incidents. He's up into 8th place. John Scott up into 7th, and look at Scott Davey, the driver who was last in the first corner, is now up into 6th place. Of course, still one lap to go, so it still could all change. But I think it's fair to say that, I mean, basically it's really only Delphi Moore that hasn't made any mistake, I think. Because George Jesus has made a mistake, a couple of mistakes in the first 2 laps. Darren Head has spun at Indianapolis. Andrew Dalby has spun in the 4th chicane. And this is now Kev Allen. Side by side with Andrew Dalby and Kev. Oh, look at this! Whoa, this was a bit of hard racing there. But and spins. Then he spins Kev Allen, destroying all the good work he has done in the previous 2 laps. I wonder if we'll get another replay of this. And there's just too much stuff happening here. Now let's look at this. They are approaching Mulsanne, and now they're going to try to run side by side through Mulsanne, which is really not possible there through the Mulsanne kink. And they end up both of them spinning, and guess who is now up into 4th place? You guessed it, it's Scott Davey. What a drive by Scott Davey. Now this is Andrew Dalby almost got away with this, but then he hit the inside curb and ends up spinning into the gravel. There goes Scott Davey and John Scott. So the Scotts are together now in 4th and 5th, and this is amazing stuff. Scott Davey, who has had an incident on the opening lap with Jumbo, and then an incident with John Scott later on, I think in the 2nd or 3rd lap, he's up into 4th place. And I was pointing out that only Delphi Mora hasn't made any mistakes, and that's actually true, as pretty much everyone else has been delayed by incidents. This is Kev Allen and Simon Allen. They'll tell up into 7th. And Simon and Kev Allen, who were 3rd and 4th just not a long time ago, are now 8th and 9th. And I suspect we have big potential for more incidents, as we now have 4 cars there. Andrew Dalby, Del Taylor, again, it's going to be, oh dear, running side by side here. Nicely done by Simon Allen though. Nicely done. Oh no, contact between the Allens. Contact between the Allens, and they're both gonna crash big time, yes! And, this is, I was about to praise Simon Allen. That was a good move there at Indianapolis. And then they basically lost it on the... Oh, and Andrew Dalby also lost it. Oh, well, this is the first single car championship with a high power car. And I have to say that probably GTE is the most power that the whole crowd can manage without creating a race that is full of carnage, as we had carnage at Arnage there. Oh dear, this is changing too quickly for me to commentate. Simon Allen is now in 7th after that incident with Kev Allen. Kev down into 9th, and David Emke somehow managed to sneak in there between the 2 Allens. David has been doing a great race. He has been in 6th place for the longest time. But now, oh, look at this. This is someone else says it's John Scott. Oh no, John Scott now has made a mistake as well. John Scott has made a mistake. He was trying to chase Scott Davey, and I believe this was on his own in the Porsche curves. Not over here, but he's a bit offline already, and he's going to hit the inside curve. Let me guess. Yeah, no, it was the outside curve. Nevertheless, it was a big hit. No damage in all Fox Racing PlayStation. but this is not a great... Oh, and almost... Well, he stays offline. Thankfully there, John Scott didn't come back into the race. Otherwise it would have been another accident. Well, we are about to start the last lap. There's no doubt about who's leading this race. That's Delphi Mora. Kev Allen continues to chase David Emge. This has been going on forever in this race, and Kev is now going on the inside of the Dunlop curve. They try to run side by side. Kev is on the inside and does the job there. David tries to come back at him at the chicane, but Kev Allen is up into 7th. Now let's see who's where in this race. Now that we are on the last lap, we can only have one more lap of carnage. Delphi Mora is leading, we knew that. Jorge Jesus has stopped making mistakes and he's in 2nd place, but he has not gained any ground whatsoever. He's still 8 seconds behind Delphi. 3rd is Darren Head, who has also stopped making mistakes. That's quite useful. And 4th is Scott Davely, who has had his fair share of incidents, but now he is recovering very nicely and is going to finish 4th. 5th is Dale Taylor. I think Dale has occupied every position in this race from 4th to 11th. 6th is Simon Allen, 7th is Kev Allen, 8th is David Emge, 9th is John Scott, 10th is Peter Adrian, 11th is Andrew Dalby, and 12th is Jumbo. Jumbo has been in 12th for a while now. Andrew Dalby is in 11th and trying to make it to 10th. As Peter Adrian is trying to defend there in the Mulsanne straight, but I think Andrew Dalby is going to go up into the top 10. Andrew Dalby did a great first half of this race where he was up into 4th, and then the second half of the race was slightly more disastrous. I mean, it all started with that incident when he tried to overtake Darren Head when Darren Head crashed at Indianapolis, and from there basically it was downhill to 10th place. John Scott also has seen the highs and lows of Le Mans. He was up into 5th at one point, or 6th, can't remember. He was extremely consistent. Unfortunately, he crashed on the penultimate lap at the Porsche curves, so losing quite a lot of time, and I don't think he's going to gain any ground whatsoever. He's still 3 seconds behind David Emge. David in 8th place was also doing a great job until he collided with Simon Allen at Tete Rouge. 7th is Kev Allen. 6th is Simon Allen, and incredibly they haven't actually lost that many places despite multiple incidents. But the man that is going to win this race and has dominated it is Delphi Mora, making it 5 winners, 5 races in All Fox Racing PlayStation in the World Sprint Prototype Championship. And there you go, Delphi Mora crosses the line. 2nd place is going to be Jorge Jesus, which is a great result. He started from pole position, he made mistakes, he recovered. 2nd place is still a pretty good result in this very tight point standings. 3rd is going to be Darren Head, and same can be said for Darren. That's a good result with such a tight championship. After winning 2nd race at Silverstone, he continues to be on the podium here. 4th place is going to be Scott Davely, and he's going to be happy with that because he was last in the first corner, and he recovered very nicely indeed. Mr. Consistency does it again, and he finishes in 4th place. Dale Taylor is going to go for it. Oh, Dale Taylor is almost going to go for 4th place here, but Scott is going to maintain his position. 5th is Dale Taylor, 6th Simon Allen, then is Kev Allen again cutting the chicane there. 8th is going to be John Scott, 9th is Andrew Darby. Oh, and David Emge has had a problem. David Emge has had a problem, he drops down to 11th. 9th is Andrew Darby, 10th is Peter Adrian, 11th is David Emge, and 12th is going to be Jumbo. What an incident-packed race we had here as the old folks continue to try to tame this car, sometimes unsuccessfully, and confirmation of the result there. Delphi Mora is the 5th different winner in 5 races. We'll see you again in race 2.